Here we are, Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m, the Salon Marketing Show. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I am your Salon Marketing coach. Tonight is actually probably the most important, totally, a flamingo amongst two pigeons. This is probably the most important episode of the Salon Marketing Show I've ever done.
That's saying a lot.
It is saying a lot from the perspective of delivering not content. We're not delivering content here tonight because you talk about delivering content on social media all the time. This is so much more than content. I feel we have a very important job this evening.
Absolutely.
And at this point, I'd like to introduce my special guest. So Matt Williams, CEO and founder, co-founder of Professional Beauty Solutions.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Aldridge from Progressive Legal.
Hi everyone, nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being our legal eagle for this very important episode. Yeah, so it is a very important episode, season 4, episode 42. We're going to be talking about memberships. We are going to be talking, we're going to have a conversation more so than between us. But for the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at this very, very closely. We have had a couple of meetings. We've been speaking to salon owners, gathering information, making sure that we are delivering as accurate.
Yes.
Would you not say?
Yeah.
What would you say our objective of tonight is when it comes to gym-like membership? Should we first clarify what that is?
Yeah. Well, even before anyone embarking on a membership program, my thought is that there's huge benefits to it, and there is a fantastic upside. But if you go into it blindly, you go into it without knowing the facts, and if you go into it without knowing your numbers and what framework to come from, and having some structure and having some legal advice, if you go into it without those things covered,
and also to have it packaged up in a way that you can sell,
absolutely,
from a marketing perspective, I think
you can get it so badly wrong and do so much damage to your business. And that's my thing tonight is that if I would like people to walk away from that going, wow, I'm going to just think twice and think carefully moving forward with any decision that I make in this department, only because the pitfalls are massive if you get it wrong.
And if you're thinking about doing a membership program, it's probably a really good time to take stock and check and see use this opportunity to work out what is actually working your business well. From a financial perspective, but just like it was for us when we introduced a membership for legal services, to have that, to check and to be able to have, if we're looking back in hindsight, to actually go in and work out how much is this all going to cost from a numbers perspective, how is it going to perform, how much service are you going to be providing, think of those numbers and double it and halve the expected financial return, and then you've probably got something, somewhere close. But obviously I can't provide any financial advice, but from a legal perspective, as a fellow business owner looking back on experience, if I were to have something like this, when I was introducing a membership program, and it's no different, from whether you're talking about, accountants practice introducing memberships or a law firm or a pool for swimming lessons, like it's disrupting so many industries now. And of course, this is now, from the States. It's being introduced in Australia, and it's a really big opportunity for Australian business owners to do this. But I think the message is stop before you go and do this. Really dig into what you're providing so far, how you're engaging with your clients, what's profitable for you. Look at those profitable areas. Really think about it. Give yourself a cooling off period.
Right? Exactly.
Before you go and make this decision.
I like that metaphor, because think about this: Salon Marketing Show, last night's Moment Monday. Oftentimes, it's do these 5 things and go out and do it tomorrow, right? Yeah. That's what it often is. But tonight, I would say it's not that. Tonight, it's okay. We're gonna tell you. We're going to give you a great overview of exactly what you need to consider. But tonight is not about, hey, go do these 5 or 6 things and then kick off your membership program. If anything, this is not a night about strategic direction as much as it is a bit of a warning for, okay, just take a step back. The cooling off period, great analogy. So that sounds a little bit like a Debbie Downer, because everyone's usually on and they're like, I want to know exactly what I need to do next in order to get to my outcome. But sometimes you need to look at everything in order to make sure that you're not, the old analogy of bringing the ladder up and parking it up against the wrong wall.
No, I haven't
so
heard that one before.
you want to be careful not to climb the ladder of success and then you get to the top and then you realize you've popped it up against the wrong wall.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, maybe not entirely appropriate for this.
No. I kind of get it. I think.
I think it's a new world of business. I think for salon owners about just offering their traditional services in the traditional way, and then now being offered, oh wow, you can make a lot of money doing it in a different way. And there's a lot of bandy about, okay, this is the next big thing and all the rest of it. This is all the rage and get really excited about it. Before you go and get really excited about it, make sure what the business fundamentals, get the business fundamentals right.
Get educated.
And then to do that, you need to get educated and to get educated properly about your own business. You need people that can actually tailor what you actually need for your business, because it doesn't matter whether you're doing exactly the same as the person next door to you, even if you're doing the same, waxing or a whole bunch of different beauty services. All businesses are different. Each business is different. Each composition of clientele is different. Each business's ability to sell different services and each people's profitability in each of those different services is different.
The market where they're trading.
Yeah.
The consumers are different. So I just want to be really clear on what we're talking about here. So we're talking about you introducing a business model to your Salon Spiral clinic where your clients are paying you a monthly subscription on direct debit, and in exchange for that, they're receiving certain services or certain privileges. And I think so it's very different to a loyalty program, which a lot of people watching probably are. They refer to their loyalty rewards program as members. This is a different type.
And very different to selling pack sales of certain treatments. It's not about just selling 10 and then someone becomes a member of that service. It's not that either. It's gym-like. The gym is the best analogy.
It is the best analogy. It's an analogy. Absolutely. So I want to start off with describing to the audience my membership that I participate in, so they get the idea. So I am actually a member of a clinic. Okay. And I pay $250 a month and I get booked every 7 to 8 weeks as part of my membership. And what I receive is as much Botox as I need sort of from here up to maintain, the way that my doctor feels that I should look, if you like. And I also receive 2 laser facials. I receive an LED treatment, a vitamin A peel, and I also receive 10% off any other services provided at that clinic.
Okay. And what are retail?
I actually don't know. They're not very good at marketing.
Okay.
So, and nor were they very good at communicating that as far as reminding me of the benefits of the membership. So we're going to talk about marketing and the importance of marketing your membership. But I love it. I don't think about the money coming out of my account. It comes out on automation. It's in my household budget.
Why do you love it?
I love it because I like looking not 46. Thank you.
So it is working.
Thank you. I also love the convenience of it. I don't have to think. I'm booked a year in advance. And I feel like I'm part of something special when I go there. I feel like I'm part of I feel like a VIP when I walk in.
You get extra special service.
I feel like I do. Whether or not I do or I don't know for sure. But when I go there, I feel like I get to park at the back in a special spot for members. I go in the back door.
See, that probably primes you already to then even, let's say you're having an experience which is not unlike any regular person, but you're primed to expect it. You're primed to feel like it's a great marketing tool, the membership program as well.
Yeah, totally. So at the time, I was a discount shopper and I would switch between 3 clinics who I knew would normally do 20% off. Tips are very appealing to discount shoppers. As opposed to ideal clients, as opposed to your A clients, your top, 10% of those. Because that would be the first question I would ask, like someone who I was getting advice from. What about my best clients? What about the clients that are spending $5,000 a year with me? I don't want them on a membership which is going to halve their spend, right? That's really important to consider.
Very key.
Yeah. And what I will say to you is that for me personally, I was a discount shopper 18 months ago, shopping around for Botox. I look in the mirror and I go, I need Botox. So then I get on the phone and I call one of 3 clinics who would give me an industry discount, and whoever I could get in first, that's where I would go. There was no loyalty. There was no average. I was in there to get the cheapest price, in and out, and that's then you get up to 3 months. Okay.
Can't you go away?
Well, I mean, I'm just the discount shopper.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was treated like a discount shopper. Okay, so with this particular clinic, they felt in the cap, but then they told me about this membership.
Right.
So all of a sudden, I'm going from 3 visits a year, around, let's say, $500 average per visit.
Yep.
Now I'm going 7 times per year.
Yes.
I'm spending $250 a month. Plus, every second visit, they allow extra time in case I want something else. My doctor recommends something else and I get 10% off. So last time I looked at my expenses of maintaining, not looking 46, I spent pretty close to $7,000.
Wow. Is it prior to becoming a member, you were spending like 3 times a year, $500 a go?
$1,500 a year. Yeah.
And now you're spending $7,000.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and the only reason it's not 9.5 is because I cancelled liposuction. And decided to go to a health retreat in Bali instead.
Okay.
It was $2,500. Bali was cheaper. Wow. And got a personal trainer. I thought I'll try diet and nutrition first.
Yeah. Then I'll pull out the
I could get 10% off lipo on my membership.
Yeah. And you just think about the money you'll save.
I mean, I might end up getting lipo. Okay. The fact is, I know about it and I save as a member.
I'm going to address what you've just said.
Okay, go.
Vanessa mentioned that she's gone from $1,500 annual average spend to potentially a discount shopper to $7,000 and as loyal as you could imagine.
And also, I've been nurtured towards becoming an ideal client. In fact, to the point where I get pissed off if they don't tell me about stuff that, like liposuction, that's $2,500. Don't assume I can't afford that, right? Because now I am becoming an ideal client.
Do you think that they should be suggesting liposuction?
I think I should be aware of the fact they offer it.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Got to be very careful suggesting that to anybody.
I would want my doctor to look at my legs and go, I see veins, I can fix that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so if we look at that scenario, amazing scenario, and perfect example of the upside benefit. If you take the gym model, and this is what I fear that a lot of people outside of the gym industry, they look at gyms, Anytime Fitness, Jets, F45, and I've got gym owner friends that make shitloads of money. Now, they look at that model. Sometimes you walk into a Fitness First or one of these gyms, there's one person on the counter or no one on the counter, these gym models, and they're cleaning up. So other industries say, well, we should look at a membership type approach. This is the difference. So key number one, which you need to know, I'll give it to you right now. A gym has a very high fixed cost. Like imagine a gym, they're opening up, they have to get all the equipment and the fit out, and once the gym is set up, then what do I do to service the clients of a gym membership? I basically open the doors. Yeah. Now, I used to have to put one person on as a minimum. Yep. And now with keyless entry and that type of thing, 24 hours, I don't even need someone on the front counter. I've been to gyms where I'm the only person in there and I've buzzed to get in, use my code and get in. So their fixed costs are very high, but their variable costs are very low. So for a gym, if they've got 100 members or 1,000 or 10,000, it doesn't make much difference. So for them, if they know their sweet spot where we can charge X and get more people, now the only downside to a gym is what if I get 10,000 show up at once? But with the gym model, because people usually have a gym membership and don't go. And I know that Fitness First, I've heard people, insiders, say they count on the fact that 20% won't go, right? Yep. And the gym membership...
At all.
Sorry, did I say 20% will go?
Will go. Oh, 20%.
Yeah, they count on 80% not even using their membership. Wow. I know. Which, by the way, I actually think is not a good thing. It's not a good thing for business. It's not a good thing for the industry.
It's not a good thing for retention or referrals.
I know. So I've got friends that opened up, not in competition, but next to a Fitness First, and they call their members when they're not coming in. It's a different model. But this is the key. Whether it be your guys or Fitness First, or, I mean, you look at the models now, Netflix is a great membership model, which I friggin' love. Then you've got memberships, Then you've got Amazon Prime, as an example. They charge an annual membership of $99. The average Amazon Prime member spends twice as much as a non-Amazon Prime member. And what do? They get free shipping and they get free downloads. Now, the downloads don't cost Amazon anything for their members to download, and the free shipping does cost them a lot of money, and there's some concern there. So even Amazon are like, oh shit, they've actually increased. They had $79 membership.
Yep.
They just increased it to $99
Yep.
because their shipping costs were costing them too much
Interesting.
money. Interesting. Now, the reason why I point that out is that if you don't know the following things, you need to know your fixed cost.
Before you consider a membership.
Before you consider a membership, no matter how awesome that story was, you need to know your fixed costs, you need to know your variable costs, right? If you know those two things, then you're going to have to figure out your break-even point. So variable costs, fixed costs, you've got to know the difference to calculate your break-even point. Then I would say the three things that you mentioned every time, we bang on about it all the time.
Every time.
You need to know how many clients, how to increase the number of clients, increase the average spend, and increase the frequency of visit. Now, in order to know, it's one thing to know all of those things, but do you know exactly how many clients you have coming through each week? Do you know exactly what it would do to your business if you increase that number by 20%? Do you know exactly what the average spend is and what would happen to your business if you increase that by 20%? Do you know exactly, or decrease it by 20%? And do you know what frequency your people come in the door? Okay, and what would happen if it increased or decreased? So there's just been a half dozen things right there. I would say then the next thing you need to know
Before considering a membership.
Is the acquisition cost of every new client. Then you need to know the lifetime value of every client. Okay, so now we're up to 8 things. Then you've got to go deeper. You need to know the profit per minute of every treatment that you offer. You need to know the gross profit of every retail item that you stock, and you need to know what your clientele buy and what they don't buy, what they love, what they don't love. Now, that's on the numbers side.
Yeah.
There's a dozen things that you absolutely need to know before you consider a membership.
Yeah.
And even if you've got an accountant in your business,
Yeah.
I'll eat my own hat if you know the answers to all those.
Yeah, agreed. And accountants are about tax compliance. And you know what? My accountant is amazing. Is an amazing lady, but she has her hands full with the tax code and tax law. That's she's got her work cut out for her with that. She does not have the time in that one meeting that we have each year to go. And sometimes she'll check in with me and ask me a couple of questions, and I'm like, I'm looking at this stuff every 48 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is just, and you know, I'm always banging on about that. I know.
Well, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Because that's what you do.
And
you've done for
you
years.
must know that
Look
stuff.
at numbers.
Yeah.
Understand numbers.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like sometimes I talk about the numbers.
Business.
And you need to know your numbers for business. And I say it, and let's say those dozen things. And I'm like, you got to know it, you got to know it. But I also know that if someone takes 2 points and then they study those, like if I give them a dozen things to do and they walk away with 2 and they go, I'm going to learn those 2 numbers, right?
Yeah.
Or those 2 conceptual things that Matt mentioned. Even knowing those 2, you're going to do better than you did before. But if you only know those 2 and you embark on a membership program, sorry, but you fuck it up.
Yeah.
Highly, highly probable.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I say, you better know everything I just mentioned.
Totally.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, like one of the things that concerns me most, and I can't wait to get into the legal side as well, because you have taught me so much in the last 48 hours about this whole deal of, you know, just, you think I'm just going to, offer this business model and then all these people are going to sign up, and there's so much to think about from a legal perspective as well. But me as a marketing strategist and a marketing coach who specialises in the Australian beauty industry, salon, spas and skin clinics, I don't coach hairdressing owners because I specialise in beauty, because it's my niche. I've got 16 years experience and I get it, I know it in and out. Yeah. The moment I start to feel like I don't have the answer, that can happen if I'm dealing with someone who's just hair or, has multiple hair salons. It's just, that's not coaching. Yeah. Right? Okay, so this is my niche, and I have personally consulted with a number of salons who wanted to set up a membership. Yeah. And one recently, when she came to me with how she wanted it structured, and I want to emphasise the words, she wanted it structured, it would have been a disaster. Okay, and the reason it would have been a disaster is, number one, she was trying to guess what her clients wanted in a membership. She didn't even know if her clients wanted a membership. And also, too, she hadn't put any consideration into her most popular services, as in volume, her profitability, And the way that she'd set it up, it wasn't even a membership. They were just payment plans. That's all they were. They were just like, it was sort of, oh, here's my memberships. They're promotions.
Yeah.
It's like a skin needling membership.
Yeah.
That's actually a promotion.
Yeah, totally.
That people are, like, you're putting them on a payment plan,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that got me when I went, okay, I've got to look into this even further, because, I mean, I do have quite a bit of experience when it comes to structuring a membership.
Yes.
And I have a certain system that I've been taught and I've seen it work extraordinarily well, is that, where was I going? I just lost my thought.
You're talking about sticking to, you're talking about the client.
Oh my God, the 20%,
Yeah.
the 20%. That she was giving 20% off her most frequent service, which is brow waxes, tints, spray tans, those services that are not profitable.
Yeah.
Right, so they're already not profitable.
They're already not profitable.
And we're going to give them another 20% off, and that's what people, and it was unlimited. There was no boundaries.
You may as well be paying your client. You may as well be paying your customer.
And I just went, holy, like this
Stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
So, I was very concerned. Now, I've seen one membership work really well. And it worked well because the clinic surveyed their clients to find out if they wanted a membership, what they wanted in a membership.
What a concept. Building a customer-centric business model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And based on their answers, because there's 9 specific questions that I get my clients to survey their client. There's 9 questions within the survey that I use when we're looking at structuring a membership and making a decision, should we even have a membership in the salon. Based on that data that comes back and analysing it, we can work out what price point it should be based on profitability so that it's delivering awesome value. Very important, so that members feel like they're getting a great deal as well. I mean, it's really important that the membership never competes with any other promotion within the clinic, otherwise how a member's going to feel, right? So it's finding those sweet spots. You can only do that if you're looking at your reports, understanding, your clientele, your client avatar, and what they really want.
That's such a great, that last one's a great example. Has anyone ever been called by the Accor group, the guys that own Novotel and they own a group of hotels. Yeah, Accor.
I said take me off the list.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I forgot about them.
I have too.
Yeah.
So Accor, we signed up for an Accor membership, and it was something like $350. And they said, so for $350, you get a free night's accommodation, and you get this, and you get this, and you get you get a 50% off dinner. And I'm looking at it thinking, that's actually pretty good. And thinking of it like a marketer and like a business person, I'm thinking, well, that's cool because the room doesn't cost them that much, but they're going to get some loyalty out of me because I'm going to go for my discount and pick Accor over any other hotel. So it was kind of cool like that until I tried to book him for that free night. And then they said, oh, that's not available. Well, it ended up being not available any time that I wanted it. And then it's like, and I don't want your standard room. I want your presidential suite because you know what I'm like.
Totally.
Yeah.
Presidente.
And they're like, oh, well, sorry, but your membership doesn't apply to that. And it's like this. And then I think we had dinner there, and it was a Saturday night. Oh, you're 50% off excludes Saturday night. And I was just like, oh, you know what? Shove your membership up your ass.
Yeah.
And now they call, and I hammer them, and they say, oh, it's different now. It's different now. It's like, nah.
And how do you feel about the brand?
Yeah, I hate the brand.
Exactly.
So very important though. They've clearly rolled out a membership that they thought we can telemarket and put this much money in our pocket and sign up a bunch of members. But what did it do to the brand? They clearly didn't know their membership base.
Yeah.
And isn't that the ultimate goal for having a membership? For people to, one, it's a good reflection on the brand.
Yeah.
None of your existing customers get pissed off because, they could have got value, you're offering a better rate than what they're already getting or whatever. Or they're paying too much already. Or you undercut your own services and do yourself a mischief on your own profit, or all of the above. Yeah. The goal of membership is to do all that right and get good brand recognition. Not only give good value to the members, but also perceive good value to the members, where they become your advocates. They keep coming back, spending more money. There's more loyalty with recency and frequency of visit, so that's more likely to be able to, if you're good at upselling and offering this or that, when these members do come in and spend more money, they get more attached, they get more loyal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole point is this, right? It's about increasing average client spend.
And the other thing is you don't have to go out and acquire new members.
Yes.
If you've got people that want to spend money with you, it's much easier to sell to those people that are willing to spend money.
That's a really good
going
point.
out and acquiring more.
Because if you don't, let's say you don't have a membership and it's not this black and white, but every time that a customer comes into your salon and then leaves, even if they have rebooked, but you do kind of have to resell them at that point of rebooking on why it's a good idea to come back, because they're a transaction-based customer. But if they become a member, the loyalty is enormous. So acquisition costs, I always think that if you've got every business that I've ever looked at, if you can plug up the leakage of the people that you lose, like I think about this, I had a business coach of mine asked me this. He said, what would your business look like if you'd never lost a customer? And I was like, oh my God, it would be 10 times as big. And memberships do plug that leak of losing clientele. So straight away, your acquisition cost of a new client has gone down, right? And your lifetime value has gone up because you've done a membership, provided you get everything right.
Yeah. And also too, you've, as far as discount shoppers go, people that, aren't, very loyal to any particular clinic, they do become stuck on you because they're having a great experience. They feel like they're getting a lot of value. But when it comes to your ideal clients, your best clients, what I've seen happen is they're not actually interested in the membership because they want the luxury of being able to have what they want, when they want, and how they want. And I have to say for myself, even at this clinic where I go, I'm kind of getting to that spot too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
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 Well, I have that in the hotel thing where I don't want to be bound by staying there if there's something else available. And yeah, I think that...
But whereas with this, like the gym membership is a great example, where those businesses that have had really bad reputation, we shouldn't name them, but the reputation of people not using the membership is a really big deal. Where people say, "Oh, I've got this membership, but I just don't use it." That's not really what you want, right?
No,
you want people to use the membership because unlike a gym where they might sell some creatine or some bodybuilding stuff or some
not really much
some protein bars.
Yeah.
There's not really much opportunity, right? Where it's different in salons. Yeah. You actually want them to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not overuse it and abuse it, but so long as
you got to get the structure right.
And you said you got to find that sweet spot.
You got to find the sweet spot because here's the thing. This particular salon owner who I recently spoke to, she had based everything on her list price in her treatment menu. So when I'm talking about your list price, I'm talking about the price on your treatment menu. That's your list price. That ain't the price you're getting for your services. Go look at your reports. Look at your top selling services report and have a look at the dollar amount next to that eyebrow wax. If you might be charging $22, but I guarantee you're getting about $16, $50, $17.
Because of all the promotions and various things that you offer.
Okay, so where are we? Are we at a 25% discount right there? Because I don't know, I'm going to give her a discount because I like her, because she's been seeing me for 10 years or, through the...
I have it all the time.
Right.
Salon, and they go, oh, we'll just make it this today.
So, your membership should actually increase the reality of what you're actually getting for your services, right? So you can't base it on your list price.
No.
And I don't think anyone out there is considering that. Who has been contemplating introducing a gym like the analogy membership to your salon? And do you have an idea of what you would like that what you would like included in that membership? And have you actually, when you were considering how to price it out, like what process did you go to? What was go through? What was your thought process? Was it straight to your treatment menu? Did you look at any reports? Did you look at your average client spend? Your current position on your frequency of visit? Because for many salons, it's very low. It's like, it's under 4 for many salons per year. Like, I consulted with someone 2 days ago who was shocked that it was like 17.2. every 17.2 weeks.
Wow.
She was seeing her clients,
Yeah.
and she thought she was seeing them way
So
more
that's not even,
frequently than
that's like
that.
3 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. And her actual annual value of her average client was less than $300.
Now, if she now knows those numbers,
Yeah.
and she knows, and she can anticipate based on, okay, she's got to get the framework right, and she's got to know what they actually want, but you've got a solution to that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The survey.
The
9 questions.
The 9-question survey. So I find out what they want.
You
then
must survey
then I
them.
know all my numbers, and then I can go, hang on, I anticipate that if I know what they want, and I offer it to them, and I can get the lady coming 3 times a year, and get her coming 12 times a year, because she's got a membership, and spending X over spending the Y, you can then run the numbers and see whether it's a viable opportunity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, once you get that information back, I mean, it's a general marketing survey as well. Like,
It's an amazing piece of information to know as a business owner.
oh, totally. And like, even at the end of it, if you go, they don't even want a membership. What a valuable exercise to go through.
Yeah. How much else will you uncover?
Oh,
And how much money and time and effort and expense and all the rest, and the heartache and the annoyance and the whys and this working and lost time.
Yeah, I actually can think of a salon owner right now who's one of the most switched on that I've coached, and totally struggling to get clients on board with memberships. She has structured the membership herself. It's sort of confusing.
Yeah.
There's, I think, 4 or 5 choices. And you go there and immediately it's like, I don't know where I fit here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, this is, it's working too, it's hurting my head, I'm out of there.
They're immobilised.
Totally, right? So, I mean, by the end of completing, like when I look at the data from that survey, I might say to a someone I'm consulting with, oh, look, there's really just one membership you need here. And this is it. Oh, look, you need 2. There's actually, it's showing there's 2
based on the survey results.
Based on the survey results.
Got 2 categories that are
Totally.
That will work with a membership.
Yeah, totally.
And there'll be a bunch of clients that don't take it up too.
Very rarely do I ever see 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's usually 1 or 2.
It's immediately overwhelming.
And 9 questions as a survey is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
To find out the relevant information that you need to know about whether or not, 1, a membership program is going to work for you, or 2, if it does. And we're not saying that membership programs don't work.
No,
we're just saying that it's really, you've got to do it right to make it work.
The structure's got to be right.
And look, at the end of the day, like I can't provide you legal advice on this, and we can't provide financial advice or other advice that you can rely on. We're just giving you information,
to get
and
due
also
diligence.
from our own experience in advising, clients, from our experience in advising salon owners, and the experience in the industry that you've got, and speaking and talking to all these salon owners, running your own businesses yourself. We know what it's like as an owner of a business that's usually I'm a sole owner. Yep. We know what it's like. If you don't have a financial controller as part of your business, if you don't have a business partner that is really good with their numbers, it scared me for a really long time knowing my numbers, because I thought, well, no, that's not what I'm good at. I'm good at doing the work. I'm good at doing being the person on the tools. And if I work harder, and because that's what the parents say, you work harder and work harder and work harder, you'll make more money. But that's not what really happens. Yeah, hard work's amazing. That can really solve most of the problems.
It's really a good thing that I've never been.
You work smart.
I've never been good on the tools. Saved my life.
But if you've got a finger on the pulse with your numbers, you know where to direct your efforts.
Yeah, I look at it as business intelligence. All the numbers for me, and I'm a numbers guy, but there's other areas of my business where I collect the data. They say, I love this line, without data, all you have is an opinion. Now,
That's so true.
Yeah, and when I say data
change.
data is a result of the 9 questions. You're going to get data, and I think that, and for me, data is business intelligence. So if I want to be intelligent in a particular area, I need to make a lot of distinctions in that area. You guys are think
you
about...
can't guess.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't guess. Okay, so the message is this, before we move on to the next part, is don't try and guess what your clients want in a membership. Don't try and guess if they even want a membership. And if you're going to do it, survey them. Ask them. Ask them the right questions. And then once you've got that information from your actual clientele, and you need to have at least 50 people fill in the survey as
Otherwise
well.
it's
And it's amazing what people will tell someone else instead of telling you.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable amount of information that people will tell you.
Yeah.
They won't tell you directly, no, but they will tell you, knowing full well that it'll get back to you directly.
Yeah.
But they're just happy because it's not confrontational.
Yeah, I remember one particular survey that we did because membership's new in Australia, not new in the US, and so I've been what would you say?
Studying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, researching all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember one particular survey where it came back. It was very evident that all the clients felt the salon's prices were too high. So that was one of the main reasons they weren't coming as frequently. So just from, surveying them and asking a question in a certain way, we were able to uncover that. And therefore, when we're considering the structure of the membership, take that into consideration. And then when we're marketing the membership, it actually affects the way that we speak to the ideal client for the membership, because we're providing a solution for them.
A solution for them. And you said that before.
You spoke, we listened, and now we're delivering.
You said that a client, a salon owner had set it up based on what she needed. Not based on what the client needed.
I've got a new piece of equipment, I want to get that busy, so that's going to be in the membership. But no one wants it.
I think even the process of surveying your clients gives them the idea, that, oh my goodness, this salon actually cares about what we want.
Yeah, totally.
What I want.
Totes.
And it's the stitch in time saves 9 principle, right?
Yeah.
It's this whole perfect planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yes, the 5 Ps, you guys, I talk about it all the time.
You just spat on me.
The 5
Here's a
Ps.
soft P. But you need to just stop.
Yeah.
Have a real hard think about it. Look at your business, go into the numbers, work out what's profitable.
Ask your
clients the question.
And structure it properly.
Before you go and embark on a whole new business model.
The administration set up.
Because there is stuff that is going to happen that
the marketing.
There's twice as much work to everything that you think is going to happen, right? And if we knew that, sometimes we wouldn't actually go and do stuff, right?
And set it up professionally so that everybody knows what the rules are. Okay, and then so I pay you this and I get this, but there's so many things that can happen, right? Okay, so we've talked at length about structure and the importance of not guessing. We've said you need to survey your clients and look at your reports, know your numbers, know your fixed and variable costs, your profit per minute, and if you're not profitable, don't offer people 20% off.
A membership won't just solve that problem.
No. Exactly. Yeah. So hopefully that has given everybody somewhere, to start to think about it. What do you do next in order to consider this?
Yes.
Now, as far as looking at our, what we're going through here, we've talked about value, the importance of delivering value to a client in a membership as well. So the value for me is the fact that, I know what it would cost for me to go and have these certain treatments if I was just paying for them as I go. Yeah. But also, too, the fact that I do get that particular privilege. Now, at this clinic, that discount of 10%, their profit per minute is sitting at $6.
So they can afford to drop it to $5.40.
They've got wriggle room.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They've got a lot of wriggle room.
Don't do it on the treatments that don't have wiggle room.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, we've talked about value.
Or if you do, know that you're doing it for something.
Exactly.
For a
know
greater
why
purpose,
you're doing
right?
it. Exactly.
Not just going in blind.
You know what? That's actually a really good point, because there's some businesses that are doing things and it's like, hang on, you're losing money on that, but it's a loss leader.
Yeah.
And again, if we do come back to those fixed and variable expenses, sometimes you can have, if you have a treatment on your menu which has arguably a really crappy profit per minute, right? Let's say it was like 20 cents, but you had enough people coming in that 20 cents a minute actually covered all your fixed costs, right? And it was actually a great lead generator for the treatments that generate $1, $2, $3 a minute. Now, that business, I would not walk into and say, let's drop this, because it could well be the thing that's holding the rest of the business up. Again, got to know your numbers. We have a VIP membership that is custom made for each client. Wow, okay. They select the service and quantities that they want per year, and we calculate a weekly payment beneficial to them and us. They also get 10% on non-promotional products during the year. I think that what Debbie's done there, and if it is working for you, Debbie, what's that?
Is that a membership or a payment plan?
Well, it could well be a membership still. Okay. It sounds like, because it's so tailored, it's a little bit like, okay, let's map out, hey Mary, let's map out what you're going to do in the next 12 months and what we're going to do to make sure that you look and feel beautiful. And that's excellent. So you're going to spend this much with us. So let's break it up and make it easy for you. So it makes it easy for her because she's not getting hit, a lot here, and it makes it easy for your cash flow. So Debbie, if that's working for you, I think that's actually, it's almost like a safe method of membership. Do you know what I mean? And it's safe because you're tailoring it to each client. And you said it right there, Debbie, is you're making sure that it works for her and for you as a business, right? If you're going to embark on a general membership where you've got, let's say, 2 on offer, that sweet spot is hard to find when it's generic to 100, 200 people. Right? If you're doing it customized on each one and that's working for you, I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's not a membership in the true, like I think about taking things to the extreme as my personal litmus test on whether something works like that. And I think, for example, that might, doesn't resemble a Netflix or even a gym, but it might resemble, I've got a friend who owns Embody over at Neutral Bay, an amazing gym if you're aware of it, he's doing really, really well. And he does have tailored memberships around what people want, and then if they want more PT and more other things, it is a bit more tailored than an average gym. Yeah. So if that's working, Debbie, that's good.
I mean, obviously there's some non-similarities, right?
It's hard to market though.
Yeah.
Oh, very hard.
Yeah. Like that would kind of be like an ideal client style membership, like completely custom for you.
Yeah.
But as far as, okay, so I like for most of the salons I consult with, there's like 3 levels of clients. You've got like this, A client, and then you've got like this sort of core client in the middle, and then you've got your basic clients that you might see just a few times per year. Like whenever I look at someone's frequency of visit analysis report, you can just it's just so like you've got visit 1, big numbers, visit 2, half, visit 3, nearly half again. But by the time we get down to like visit 8, we're getting to like 16 people. Yeah. Visit 7, maybe 14 people. Like it really drops off. And where a membership can help a lot is in that middle ground, or to nurture a basic client up to being a core client. Because the top is kind of taken care of already, right? So there's so much opportunity in the other 2 clients. Totally, yeah. Now, so we do have people who have memberships in place and they've got success with their memberships. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the legal side of things. So the client who I'm referring to, the person who said, I'm setting up this membership and I've got on this sort of payment plan system, the payment plan provider who has given me, is providing me with a service to manage my membership, more like the admin side of it, and
set up the membership. Provide pages for the membership to be displayed so that people can actually enter their payment details, manage the system and the process, and also chase any debts as well. Okay. If there are any failed payments. So on the face of it, that's a really, it's an attractive offer if you've got this sort of done-for-you service. But one thing that really sort of came out, well, there's a lot of things that came out.
You had to look at the contracts.
But from a legal perspective, the contracts that people are actually signing up with some of these payment providers, and we had to look at a whole host of them, there's some really not nice stuff. It's really, really one-sided, these contracts. Most of the clients that we talked to didn't get a lawyer to look over them, so they didn't get any legal advice in relation to the contracts. Didn't get to see what the ultimate contract is with the actual customer. So they're buying into a service they're buying into a membership, right? With a provider, on the promise of all these different things, but from a legal perspective, there was the contract itself with the provider was extremely one-sided. In some of the cases, it actually contained unfair contract terms, it's actually against the law to have some of these unfair contract terms. And also the terms and conditions, although most of them were not too bad with the customers themselves, they weren't drafted by a lawyer, they weren't reviewed by a lawyer, and they weren't and there wasn't any legal advice on how to set up the memberships. And when you think about it, this is the most fundamental contract from a legal perspective is with your clients, with your customers, right? Making that's the A of the A, B's and C's for legal 101. Like getting the contract right with your customer. If you're embarking on a membership program where you have no say in the contract that's going to be provided to the customer, no avenue for getting legal advice, and the reality is most won't get it because they're induced into the contract with the promise that this contract is legally sound. It's been legally drafted, and it's going to solve and you don't have to go and see a lawyer.
So why would they go and see a lawyer?
So if they've been told that information, I don't like it as a lawyer, because if you're engaging with a company that says that something is going to legally hold weight and it doesn't, then you're clearly not. There's going to be some breaches of law.
So if I was a salon owner and I jumped on that one and wanted to use that, and then I've got this customer contract that I'm having my customers sign.
I think we need to clarify what it is that we're talking about. So
cool.
at the moment, from what I'm seeing a lot on Facebook, and I'm hearing about from salon owners, I know of 4 different payment providers or companies that are offering a membership model, or how would you describe it?
It's a membership. It's you're paying a certain amount of money every month, whether or not you use the service.
Whether or not you So this is for salons to set up a membership.
So the payment provider obviously wants millions of women paying. They make money on the transaction every week. So they've thought, okay, to bring a whole bunch of salon owners on board, we're going to offer a system for implementing a membership program into your salon. So there's salon owners out there that are saying, oh, well, I've heard memberships are good. I've heard some great stuff about them. I know a friend of a friend of a friend who's doing really good with a membership. I'm going to implement one. I don't really know what I'm doing, but this payment gateway is going to give me a systemized step-by-step which covers legal, so I'm going to jump on that. Our concern with that and those half dozen that are out there, and there will be more.
There will be more.
And I'm not saying, and they might have all good intentions, and what they're offering actually might also be good. But what I don't want to see is, because you know how I feel about salon owners' profitability. That's our mission, right? I want our salon owners to be the most profitable in the industry, and you can still, from what I've seen, there are so many things not covered, and they're not promising to cover those things. But it's like, oh, hang on, that's only this much of it, and you've got to assess all of this before you jump into bed with that.
Totally. And as far as with this particular, at least someone delivering. What's that conversation like with that client?
And you have no control over that conversation.
You've got no control over that. So what is that conversation like, and who's making the call?
And are they in the Philippines or India?
Well, we don't know. They might be right here in Australia. But the point of the matter is this. What is that conversation like with my client that I'm trying to nurture towards becoming an ideal client?
And it's such a sensitive moment too around money.
Totally.
Yeah.
I remember the day when my card used to get declined quite a lot before. There was a time in my life where I'd hold my breath when I was tapping.
Yeah.
And then someone would go, it's declined, and it's the way that makes you feel, and you're in this very intimate relationship with your beauty therapist who, I don't know, is doing your Brazilian and everything else, right? And then you're getting this phone call from this company going, decline. Let's assume they're saying it. Hi, I'm calling from such and such, just to let you know, your payment didn't go through, and it's just that whole. I'd want to call my own client and say, if anyone ever does, how many phone calls would be made anyway? How many people
We've had that situation, and I think a delicacy is important. You need to make sure that the person, you give them in that moment, you know how bad you felt and how easy it would be for you to never want to go back.
I just know that I would treat every phone call to my own coaching clients in a different way, knowing them intimately, knowing their life, knowing the way they manage their money or whatever.
Just like you would if the payments decline when they're at the counter.
But I think it's a really good example that the payment provider what they're offering on the surface, it's like they check a bunch of boxes which need to be checked, but it's the detail that makes all the difference. And that's a classic example of, like, it might be like, well, that's good. Okay, they're going to chase the debts for me, so I don't have to worry about not getting paid, right? Or you don't have to worry about not getting paid, but you may have to worry about losing a client if it's not handled to the way that you would want it handled.
Okay, exactly. All right. So, and here's the thing. So then you had a look at the contracts.
Yeah.
So this is the B2B contract, as in the payment provided to the salon owner.
That's right. Yeah.
But also the salon, contract was provided to the salon owner.
The ultimate customer. Yep.
To give to the member.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And I learned a lot from that process.
Yeah. It's a fascinating process. I know, legals, you will scare most people in the fact that there'll be some of these providers, just like there are precedent providers for all your sort of legal documents out there. Their argument is, well, some protection is better than none. But the problem is they sell false sense of security, because that's not how the client sees it. Client doesn't see it as, oh, some protection is better than none. Yeah. No, the client sees it as, I'm fully protected. Yeah. This is a business that's selling legal documents to me, and they're going to protect me. Yeah. You can't sue them if the ultimate client sues you. You have no recourse back onto them from a legal perspective. Yeah, I think because they've got a clause in the contract that says you need to get your own independent legal advice.
Right, they do. Even though they're providing you with...
Of course they do. They're not a law firm. Yeah. So they say you need to get you acknowledge to us that you're getting your own independent legal advice. So it does make
what they're providing you a bit redundant then, right?
Well, I mean, they give you templates, and just like anything with templates, right? If it's not customized, usually it's not going to provide you with a proper legal protection that you have. Just like all precedent documents.
Now, can you give us an example of what could go wrong? So if I'm a salon owner and I don't get the legal side right, give me an example of what might go wrong.
So a lot of salon owners don't have disclaimers and waivers in place where they have people sign off on stuff when they're dealing with skin. Yes. When they're dealing, with waxing and irritation and all that sort of stuff. I've had a few salon owners get very scared when there's been a chemical, but you're applying chemicals to main body organ. Like if you do not have waivers or disclaimers where people sign off before getting these services, like you need to
if you've got insurance but you don't have the correct waivers to support the insurance company may look for a way. Well, we know that
the insurance company will look for any way of denying liability.
Yeah. And what are the implications of what could go wrong if the salon owner that takes on one of these programs, or what could go wrong as far as starting a membership using a templated legal procedure? Give us an example. You mentioned at the first, like, if you're doing appeal or if you're doing anything invasive at all, and you don't have the correct waivers in place.
That's right, and they need to be properly and legally drafted. Make sure they cover you for what you're doing, because as we said before, every business is different. Every salon is going to be doing different types of products and services, and making sure that everything is ticked off from the legal perspective, so that there's no comebacks. Yeah. And as you said, you've got business insurance, and that's great.
But they don't love paying out, do they?
They don't love paying out, and they want to make sure as well that you've taken the adequate steps as a business owner,
which is important.
That at the end of the day, you've taken those steps legally to abrogate or push over as much of the legal risk to the consumer, to customer. And as we know, the buck stops with you as a business owner. It doesn't matter, if there's any ambiguity in any of these contracts, which we've had a look, and there are some ambiguities. If there's any ambiguity, they're going to side with the consumer. Yes. Like if you come before a tribunal or a court, just like a worker, they're going to be pro worker. Yeah. They're going to be pro consumer.
They always
are. And nowadays, thankfully, when it comes to big business doing business with little businesses, they're going to be pro little business as well.
So just like if you're going to court or you're at a tribunal because of an unfair dismissal case, it's important that you've done everything adequately as a business owner, legally, in order to let that person go. But the same thing here, where if you're providing a service, if you're doing everything correctly and you've got all the right legal waivers in place, then you're covering yourself.
Yeah, and I think you can do as much as you possibly can. There are some things that you can't contract out of. You can't contract out of your own negligence, for instance, right? But there's there's all these provisions that you can put in place into a contract
Yeah.
to protect you for as much as you legally can protect.
But are we talking
Otherwise,
membership contracts here?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're talking
A
about.
membership
Really?
contract is still
Yeah.
a
So
contract
this
with your
should be,
client.
but what you're talking about, like if you're doing peels and all that sort of, that should be in a membership contract.
Well, if they don't have those waivers and disclaimers elsewhere,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh my
but
God.
there's no.
Most salons wouldn't though.
Absolutely. I
Or
mean,
they're using
absolutely.
a template from their
Yeah.
supplier of
Yeah.
a machine or whatever. Okay, so with a membership contract though, right? Because from what I understand, with quite a few of the providers that are coming into the market, part of the investment in their service
Yeah.
is getting a templated based, semi-customized.
Mm.
I could be wrong, and I'm very open to being corrected,
Yeah.
but I've tried to do my research as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
One size fits all,
Yeah, the cookie cutter approach.
right? Okay. Also, to the salon owners that I'm speaking to, have not had a lawyer look at the contract
No.
at all. And so, what did you find was missing?
So there's no investigation obviously into the business and to the structure of their products and what their profit margins are and where their break even points and all the rest of the stuff. There's very little upfront investigation into that. There's very little
established is critical.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little investigation into their business from a legal perspective and what they're doing and what they're currently doing in terms of their waivers and disclaimers or what sort of contracts or terms
How
and
they're
conditions.
structured?
And well, clearly, yeah, how they're structured. That doesn't even form part of the conversation. We know this is just a very small part of a very larger part of a conversation of law, like it would be with finance or marketing. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things is they don't actually take the time to get to know the business and provide them with the legal advice that they need for a whole range of different areas. It's just really what products do you want to sell and at what discount over what period, etc. And just plugging them into the gaps. And then Rob's your father's brother.
Yep.
Spit out a contract for you, and you get the client to sign that, and she'll be right. She'll be right, mate.
Right. Okay. And so there was some red flags as well within even the contract between the payment provider and the salon owner.
Yeah.
And the salon owner hadn't had a lawyer look at it. So what should they? If just say someone right now has got one of those contracts sitting in their in tray.
Yep.
They've printed it out. They're considering it. They're about to sign. What should they be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, first things first. Read the contract. Like there are some clauses in there that are really concerning, like exit fees. You know, like these those old exit fees with banks.
With banks,
I mean, they're now illegal.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of unfair contract terms like penalty clauses. They've got to make sure that they cover a whole host of stuff, like upfront payments and whether they're payable on termination.
Yeah. And you're talking about
periods.
you're talking about the contract between the salon owner and the
Payment provider.
but which also extends then from the salon owner to the customer because that's what they're providing as well.
Yep.
You mentioned with that first one that there is a clause in the contract that you saw that said we're assuming that you're getting legal advice on this. Okay.
Yep.
So the first thing you said is number one, read the contract. What a concept.
Yep.
Number two, get that legal advice that they're assuming that you're going to get.
Yep.
100%. And I know that's not just a shameless plug for you, but allow me to make the shameless plug. Because I think that getting anything that's not just a real simple, straightforward agreement, I always have my lawyer look at it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've got a relationship with a lawyer. Most people will not have a relationship with their lawyer. I know most small business owners would rather go to the dentist than speak to a lawyer because at least they know how much it's going to cost to get drilled, and it's not going to have 3 zeros behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what's fundamentally wrong with how law has been done over the last 200 years, at least in Australia. We know the rest of the world as well. They've made it very, very difficult to actually even approach a lawyer without getting a bill.
And
so that means that
doesn't
people just
give
don't.
me teeth like this.
But also too, wasn't there, like when we had our meeting yesterday, there was a concern around intellectual property or...
Yeah, I mean, some of these contracts even have clauses in there, catch-all clauses about intellectual property, and if you've developed any intellectual property during the course of the engagement, that the intellectual property is actually owned, not by you anymore, but by them.
Now, when you mentioned that, I said I had a situation where someone tried to pull that one on me, and I thought, oh, hang on. So it was with a.
Let's give an example.
Okay, so it was with a product supplier, and they had in the contract that anything that we come up with, like let's say it was, for example, a marketing strategy that we come up with, and we thought, you know what, this is a really good marketing strategy to move this product, and then we created a whole bunch of supporting material or graphics or whatever. If we come up with all of that, as we do with our, our PBS does that all the time,
to market the membership,
this supplier stated in their contract with us that they would have the intellectual property rights of everything that we create during our time together.
Right.
And I was like, no, that's our stuff. That's not yours. Because if we create something magical, which hopefully you're attempting to create, not only magical but potentially proprietary, which other people don't have, then this provider, this payment gateway, would say, that's ours, and you can't use it anymore.
Basically, like if you had an employee, and you should have in your employment contract, that anything that they create as a result of the employment engagement, all that intellectual property is yours.
Yes.
Because you pay them as your employee.
Absolutely. So anything created in that time.
So it's basically like an employer-employee relationship in that respect.
Yeah.
They own it. They own it all, and you've assigned it all
but
over.
in this instance, you're paying them. For the
This
right
case,
to
you're
assign
paying
everything
them.
over. Yeah, because it makes sense as an employer that if I pay an employee and they come up with a great idea, that's mine because I'm the one funding the ideas.
That's right.
On my
You're
time.
the investor.
But in the reverse here, I'm paying the payment provider and I may come up with something really fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they can take it and they could even, if we part ways, they could even stop me. That's what
Stop you from
they could
capitalising
stop me
on it.
from capitalising on something that I created or come up with.
Yeah.
Now that's a scary one.
But and these contracts are probably not contracts which are negotiable.
Yeah.
Or they say they might be negotiable, but I would say very few people would actually negotiate. I mean, they'll just say, "Oh, I don't like that,"
and again,
then leave.
This providers that provide stuff like this, I don't think that there's any bad intention where it's like, oh, well, let's do this.
Absolutely not.
But they need a contract which, if it's a template contract that they're using with 1,000 people, they need something that's going to protect their ass every day of the week. Therefore, it's going to be, like you said, it's one-sided. It's weighted in their favour.
Yeah.
And I remember a lawyer once saying to me that contracts should be designed to keep people together, not to tear them apart.
Yeah, because ultimately that's how a contract will work the best.
Yeah.
That it's a fair contract for both parties.
Which is where we come full circle back to your marketing approach and the whole structure of whatever you're going to offer. There's that legal side. Is it fair for both parties? Is it also something that the consumer, I know as a consumer, if I'm asked to sign a contract, I got to look at it, browse over it, and feel really comfortable. If there's anything that looks a bit sinister, or even if it's long and fine print, I'm a bit like, oh, I don't want to sign that, right? So it's got to be kept nice and simple.
Apart from your Apple terms and conditions.
Oh, I disagree. Apple, Facebook, all of those. Agree. Yeah, listen into my conversations.
So
exactly.
So the message is when you're actually entering into a 12-month commitment with a provider of anything, and you're given a contract to sign,
take it to a lawyer.
You need to get a lawyer to look at it.
We've got one right here.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, read the contract first, and if there's anything that jumps out at you and go, oh, I don't like the sound of that, or I'm not really clear about that, I want to run it past someone, then,
I always do that first. I always read the contract if it's really straightforward. And I've had some providers and some people that I've worked with, and they've kept it nice and simple and all in layman's terms, and it resonates with me, all good, let's sign off on this. But the minute it gets into anything tricky, it's like, this is drafted by a lawyer who's working for the other side. Let me just have it run past my guy.
Yeah, but
it's just smart. It's just smart business.
There was a time when I didn't regularly speak to a lawyer, and I remember I was going to engage a Australian-based company who were going to source a VA for me in the Philippines, but I was going to be the customer of this Australian-based company with an ABN. Okay, so they sent me through a service agreement, which I ran my eyes over and read, but I automatically forwarded it on to Ian because that is what is part of my Legal Shield subscription with you. It's included in that, part of my membership, right? Lo and behold, I get back an email saying, we strongly advise that you do not sign this.
Wow.
There was
what was it?
What was your exact word? There was inconsistent, something very concerning, and I didn't go ahead with. I went and found a different provider. Because when there was something in particular, this is quite a few months ago now, that was pointed, and when I took it back to him, he said that's not going to be changed. We're not changing that. Now I would have just signed that, read it, thought I understood it,
and that was a deal breaker.
And with your experience, you might look at that and go, A, it's a bit nasty. B, I've seen this before, and the intent.
Yeah.
You understand the intent behind the clause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas us, sometimes I know I've read a contract. It's like, yeah, it sounds all right to me.
Not just the intent, but also the consequence of the potential consequences
Okay.
of what will flow as a result of
Potential
that.
consequences of what. You know what? Write that one down, because everything that we've talked about tonight is about the potential consequences of what might flow on from that. You know what? I remember years ago I was doing a lot of coaching and training, and I remember thinking with small business owners. This is in a previous life, and I thought to myself, you know what I would love to do? I would love to get in front of people about to start their own business and give them all of the warts and all on everything, and hopefully I'd have a few people go, you know what, that sounds pretty shit, I'm not going to do that. In fact, I had a friend, was a girlfriend of Lisa's, and she had a little business, and I talked her out of her business, and she closed up, and I feel really good about that,
Yeah.
because I know how much damage it can do. I feel like, again, I'll reiterate, that's where you guys are all already in business, and many of you are doing well, some of you are struggling. I think that if you're about to embark on this, and sometimes, this is my fear, is that anyone struggling, when you're drowning, you will reach for any kind of lifeline. And if you think, or if it's pitched to you in a way that this could be a solution to your problems, think again. I'm not saying it won't be, but think again and think carefully. Make sure that you've got the marketing aspect. I mean, that's key. Like, we talk about those 3 ways to grow any business. If a membership program doesn't support those 3 ways, you've talked about making sure that your clients even freaking want it. Then understanding all the other financial metrics as to whether it's going to be good for you and good for the client, the marketing approach, whether it's going to be good for you and good for the client, and then the legal side, whether it's going to be good for you and good for the client.
Yeah, I would say that you'd need to have like a reasonably financially stable business before you contemplated introducing a membership. And I actually know that some payment providers actually say that. They say, this is not a solution for you. If your business is in trouble, memberships are not for you.
Yeah.
It's not a quick fix.
Good.
And I love that.
I imagine that's because if people run into doing memberships without any previous experience with memberships or any or a lot of business traction and wheel kilometres under the wheel,
they might not be able to fulfil the membership. As far as what they've
exactly.
offered, what they've promised.
And if the business owner knows that, hey, I've been offered a whole bunch of stuff before, nothing has solved all the big issues. Yeah, we struggle as business owners every day. We're always looking for ways to increase, what we do and to become more profitable. But it's got to work well for the client, and it's got to work well for you. And you just have, you come back to it all the time. You've got to take the time, do the due diligence on this stuff. And we get shiny object syndrome as business owners. Oh, this is new. This is going to be a watershed moment for salon owners to introduce memberships in Australia. Right? That's the way it's been.
I don't want to miss out.
I don't want to miss out. I want to be first to market. I want to get. And I want to be there. First on ground.
It's going to work for me.
Yeah,
exactly. But we're preaching a bit of hesitation before you go and jump in. Like either test the water. I mean, some of these business owners that are probably that haven't tested the water before, aren't don't know about what the consequences of doing something like this are going to be, especially from a financial perspective. I'm the first one. To say, look, sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes how good your terms and conditions are. If no one's going to take up the membership, I mean, no one's going to take up the membership, right?
Okay.
You may as well not start from the beginning.
That's classic. So,
or if the numbers don't work,
is it something
you're going out of business.
Can you market it? Is everyone going to love it and want it? And then also, is it going to be profitable for you?
But before and we'll end on marketing tonight. But before we do, can we just talk a little bit about the contract that you looked at that was between the salon owner and their customer? Was there anything was there any red flags there for you when you ran your eyes over that at all? Or was it?
Look, I mean, it wasn't a half bad contract. The one that the specific one that I looked at.
Yeah.
It's just there was probably a few things that I would probably tidy up and tighten up from a legal perspective.
Yep. Because there was something about there were. Oh no, that was the B2B. Yeah, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything that jumped out was like, oh my god, they've missed out this enormously important thing. But there were a few ambiguities in like, okay, so what happens if I cancel my membership? Within the time frame, then what? And they hadn't actually thought about penalties, providing a penalty for exiting the contract. which is generally frowned upon by the courts. And actually thinking about the legal process, it's very hard for me to know what legal input has actually been put into it.
Yeah.
But on face value, some of these contracts may not be that bad. But without speaking to the client directly and going, okay, did you consider this? Could you consider this? What about this? What about this? And doing the process
all
from
the what
scratch.
If scenarios.
What if scenarios. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And did they provide you any other legal advice, or say, at the end of the conversation, okay, we've drafted that thing. We're not lawyers. You need to remember to get legal advice. No, they didn't. They clearly don't say that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Vanessa talks about knowing your why, and you should always ask why, especially in marketing. You always want to go for the why behind it all.
Yeah.
But I would say that with legal and with financial, you have to put that pessimistic hat on, which you don't want for marketing. But you put that pessimistic hat on, and then you ask, what if? What if this happens, or what if that happens in my business? And knowing all the what ifs.
I think as well as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we're risk takers by definition, right?
Yeah.
And we're risk takers in all sorts of stuff, in the financial areas, and launching a new product to see whether it works, or doing this and seeing whether it works. And I'm all for that. We do it constantly. But law is just one of those areas where you just don't want to take the risk. You don't want a shortcut.
Yeah.
You want to do it right. There's plenty of other areas of the business that you can go and take risks in. And you really have to look at it like, at the very least, you need to look at it like business insurance.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I need to get someone to just give me some advice about business from a legal perspective across a range of different areas, like your structure, your intellectual property protection, all your commercial agreements that you might need to have reviewed, or your terms and conditions on your website. A lot of people are doing stuff online nowadays, so making sure that the process of engagement is really clear, which is one of the things that I think this particular process was lacking. That having these terms, where do they go? Where do these terms and conditions go? Do they and making sure that they're very clearly visible prior to sign up, and making sure that they're acknowledged and signed prior to sign up if they are doing that way, or at least have a tick box.
Sign nothing until you've read it all, and especially if you're buying a template of something and it's in your like your agreement with the provider that we're giving you a template, but you need to get it checked by a lawyer. But that's the value of what you're investing in it. I don't know about.
And look, there's a whole bunch of like non-law firms running out there at the moment, providing templates to the market, right? And they even have like law in their name, right? Or legal in their name, and they're not law firms.
Right.
And despite they do say that if something does happen, then their insurance covers them, and that helps out. But to be honest, I'd rather not get into this into the issue in the first place, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, totally.
Having over 12 years experience in dispute resolution and seeing what happens when it goes wrong.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Like, some of these contracts are not worth the paper they're printed on.
Yeah, right, got it.
They don't cover them for the big ticket items.
Yeah. So I guess the message from us tonight really is do your due diligence. We've given information around structure, the survey. Make sure that you get look at the money, look at the financial side. It doesn't sound to me like there's one size fits all for legal. It's sounding to me like you really need to have someone consult with you on your individual needs as a business owner. And when it comes to marketing, you want to have a marketing plan to launch the membership, because I tell you, once it fails, it's failed. Clients remember it's failed. You need to have a very clear objective when it comes to launching it.
You've got to do it right first time. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you need to have your targets. You need to know, you don't want all your clients on a membership. And you also need to market the membership throughout the year as well. And a lot of salon owners don't know how to
and test
really
and measure
do
it
that.
and see how it's performing.
And see what's working, exactly, and make sure that, it can be adjusted as you go along, because maybe you need to do that. We do have some questions, and I just want to, there's some really good questions. Should we be getting our own done when we're talking about the legal stuff? The answer is yes. You should be getting your own, everything you mentioned before, service agreements and, right? So the answer to that is yes. Now, she did ask how much would something like that cost? to get your own done?
Good
That
question.
came up. It's a great question. How much could you expect to pay for a service such as that from a lawyer? So to have them look at a contract.
Okay, so it's a question. So if I decide that everything else stacks up, I want a membership program to offer, and I'm going to need a contract for that membership with my client, how much would that cost?
Look, usually we'd charge for client member terms and conditions with your client around $12.50 plus GST.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting
Yeah.
because I remember having a conversation with someone a couple of years ago who told me that it cost $11,000 to get a contract created for a membership.
Yeah, I mean that's unfathomable numbers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's add another zero number.
Okay.
There's no way it would cost that much.
Well, the actual value of
Maybe for Costco.
having a membership set
Maybe
up.
for Costco.
Right, okay. Was that, like, my question was, well, what would it cost my client to get that set up? And the answer was $11,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying $1,250 plus GST?
Yep.
Okay. So it's not $11,000.
No.
Okay.
I think
All
that's
right.
interesting in the because so many small business owners, me included, I don't know what it costs. Like,
No.
and I have a lawyer that I have a relationship with and does, work for us. So I've got legal bills, but I couldn't tell you how many hours it would take him to do this over that. I just have no idea. And because of that unknown, we just kind of accept what we get told.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit of a worry right there.
There's so much asymmetry of information, they call it, right?
Yep.
Like, you're talking to your web developer and they go, this is how much it costs. I'm like,
No.
did you just pluck that number out of air, or did you just
Yeah.
think of a number and double it? Like,
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, there's more questions. So, are there any providers at the moment that you would recommend if the numbers added up and clients wanted, etc.? And I think she also said, so can we just set this up and do it ourselves? I think you could set it up and do it yourself.
If look,
Ziggy's hair's going
Yeah,
everywhere.
no,
We're all
Ziggy's
touching
hair.
our
Sorry,
nose.
yeah.
Just so
I've got
everyone knows. it's
Ziggy's
not-
on my lap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ziggy's hair. It's coming into
Yeah,
summer.
we're all touching our nose.
And it's all, I know,
yeah.
we're all kind of like this now. It's because you can see
Yeah.
Ziggy's hair
Yeah.
going everywhere.
In a previous life, I owned a gym, and we had a payment partner that was big in the gym industry, and look, I even forget their name now, but they're out there. But there was several that were competing in that space, and they were. But essentially we just paid per transaction, and it was very straightforward. But that's all we paid is per transaction. So there wasn't any extra service that they offered where, okay, well then take on this membership. So I think some of them are trying to incorporate this as this is an add-on service that we can offer because these people don't know what they're doing. Perhaps the gym industry folk didn't offer that because a lot of gym owners, sometimes it's $1 million to set up a gym, so they're a bit more savvy, and they maybe have a lawyer that's doing it.
And there was just one product. There was just one thing. It was just
Pretty straightforward,
put the price in, boom.
Yeah.
You want to be a
But
member, that's
So
it.
yes, the answer is there would be others out there that if you wanted to go, let's say if you wanted to, I want to figure all the marketing out, I want to make all the numbers match up, and I want to make sure that I've got my own legal contract in place, and I'm going to do a membership. You could just go like lawyer, marketing workshops, run all my numbers, check everything, run it past my accountant,
Right, yeah.
and do it your own.
And
do
set
it
up a
yourself.
Stripe account.
There you go.
Yeah, so I use Stripe in my business, and I have, I guess my small group coaching is kind of like a
so do I.
membership.
Yep.
It's a fortnightly payment. My
Yeah.
clients make on automation. I use an app called, I know it's everywhere. It's terrible, isn't it? Ziggy, it's everywhere. Moon Clark, it's called, and it links in with Stripe. And I just send my clients one link. They click on it, and it can set up 12 monthly payments.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I just I get an email to let me know what payments have gone through, and I get flagged if one hasn't gone through, and it comes up in my inbox. I mean, you could have a dedicated
Yep.
email inbox
Yeah.
just for memberships, just for those payment notifications
Yep.
to go in,
So
and you
for
just run
sure,
your eyes
there's one
over
right
it.
there.
Yeah, you run your eyes over it, and you're like, oh, look, such and such has had decline.
Yeah.
Now you can call your client and handle that in such a way as if their card just got declined in front of you,
Yeah.
using the same kind of, I guess,
Delicacy.
delicacy
Yeah.
that you would
Yeah.
in a real life situation. And I can tell you that I can set up a payment plan now in 2 minutes. And Stripe's really cheap, really easy to use. I didn't
I
even
use
have to
it,
contact
yep.
my bank. It was so easy to set up. So I believe that you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
You can have a customised contract created. Well, then you don't need to be paying a third party to provide you with a contract. You just pay your 1,250 plus GST and get your actual proper enforceable contract. That's complete.
And you've got control over the transaction.
You've got control over the so divide that by 12 months. How much is that? $125 a month or something, and it's all for you. Okay, it's all customized. And like as far as what else do you need to run a membership? You need something like Moon Clark. You need Stripe.
That's
you
the
need a
mechanics of it.
contract.
The only other thing you need to know is whether it's a good decision for your business and for your business.
And you just need someone to connect the the page to boom, sign them up.
Oh yeah, like you need a simple landing page or something like that.
Easy.
That's really easy to do. Like you can easily find someone to do that. Like I can teach that. It's so easy to do. Okay, and with your Legal Shield subscription though, I'm a Legal Shield customer. I'm a client. And so I was provided with 5 different legal documents. Completely, a lot of time and work was put into those documents, customised for my business. And if I want something looked at, it's part of my subscription, and I think I pay $395 a month. And I can call you anytime, and I don't get charged.
That's
within reason.
Yeah. Obviously, there's fair use to everything, but
fair use to everything.
The thing is that
But I can make a call without holding my breath.
Your time is precious as a business owner.
Yeah.
You're not going to be calling your lawyer, to ask about the weather.
No.
You're going to be asking about stuff that you need as a business owner.
Yeah.
To know from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And
that's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Really good.
Yeah. So I think let's share with everyone what happened yesterday. So when we got together and I was trying to learn as much as I can about the situation with memberships, because I'm a teacher. I see myself as a teacher in the Australian beauty industry, and I'm touching my nose because of my dog's hair.
It's everywhere. It's on my chin.
It really is. It's on your lips. It's everywhere. You had this problem last time in the Salon marketing show. So I decided I was going to do a workshop. I decided I was going to do like a workshop, just a small group of 6 salon owners who I wanted to give them the 9 questions, teach them how to survey their clients. Teach them how to analyse and read the data, teach them how to look at their reports, how to look at their numbers, and then go through the process of, the whole marketing side and all of that. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be great to involve a lawyer in that workshop? You agreed, I'd love to be. We set our dates and all of that when we were going to do it for 6 people. Then I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great to have someone who's actually very experienced in the money side and the profitability side? So for the first time ever, I was going to have the 3 of us providing a workshop to 6 people. And I mean, when anyone's done a workshop with me before, I charge between $2,000 and $3,000 for a workshop. So I'm doing it. It's $2,750 for 6 salon owners who would like to go through that workshop. But then I stopped and paused and I went, you know what really sucks about this? That I can only do it for 6. That we can only do it for 6. Imagine if we could do it for 600. And so we are, you guys. We're actually going to be doing a full day workshop. It's going to be done via a Facebook live stream within a closed group, a secret group, and it is going to be this guy talking about the legal side for you, this guy talking about the profitability side for you, me talking about the structure, you getting access to the 9 questions, and me talking about the marketing, and we're only charging you $196 for it. For a whole day.
I honestly, when Vanessa suggested
the 9 questions is worth $2,000.
Yeah. And I'll say this, that even if at the end of it, so at the end of that, you will be able to make a decision unequivocally whether it's a good decision or a bad decision for your business to implement a membership program. What I love about it is that at that price, honestly, at any price, what you will know about your business at the end of the process, what you'll have in your hands as far as, wow, I now know exactly how to assess all of these areas. Whether you decide on a membership or not, you're going to know so much more about your business. That's where it's worth 10 times that right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what have we got here? A software onboarding links to Easy Debit. Yeah, see, that's important too. You've got to consider the software that you're using. Does it have a membership feature in it? So I'm really excited about that. I've never done... I mean, I charge $440 an hour to coach someone. So $196 to get access to a lawyer that I'm sure charges pretty close to a similar sort of hourly rate if they're outside of the legal shield.
Yep.
Plus your amazing, incredible experience of decades of entrepreneurship and understanding and looking at numbers. 16 years marketing strategist, just focusing on the beauty industry. And I have a system, I've been taught a system for membership structure, which I know works, but at the same time takes the guesswork out of it. And at the end of that process, at the end of the day, we hope there are some of you who go, you know what, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And it only cost me $196 to learn that
to
from
save
3 experts.
Potentially tens and tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands of dollars. So Mona, can you please get the link so that everybody can... Now, when you actually click on this link, if you would like to join in on our full day workshop, which will be live streamed within a secret Facebook group. It will be held on a Sunday so that it's all of you can participate, and it's going to be the 26th of November. It will be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we're going to cover everything you need to know. Everything, okay? If for whatever reason the baby cries or whatever happens, the dog's going to go to the vet, you can't, you've paid it, you can't attend. The group is going to be there. We're going to be engaging in the group. We're going to be answering questions for 2 weeks after the actual workshop ends. And I'm really excited about it. So when you actually click on this link that Mona in our control room is going to pop into the comments now, you'll see you've got 2 options. You can pay $2,750 and be one of the 6 salon owners that I work with in a small group workshop coaching environment. And obviously, it's going to be epic. Or just go past that, click on the $196 option and jump in with all of us. and have access to these 2 guys as well. And
look, I'm happy about it being scalable, about getting in front of hundreds and hundreds of salon owners that need this information. Like I said before, I'm passionate about the salon owner's profitability. I want all of my salons to be the most profitable in the industry. I always think a happy salon is a profitable salon. A profitable salon is a happy one, that's for sure. And it kills me. Back in a previous life when I used to do face-to-face coaching and then bringing this into this business, what kills me is when I see any business owner, and it's frequent for salon owners, where the owner of the business is taking home less than some of their employees, and to think that that those people are potentially going to be the ones going, oh, well, maybe a membership's my solution, and then to give them everything that they need to know to potentially maybe not decide against that, but then perhaps take that information and build a more profitable business as a result. Anyway.
And because here's the other thing, we're not selling memberships. We're not selling a membership service, right? Yeah. So we want to educate you and empower you so that you can make a decision. And maybe you might go at the end of it, double high five, I am so setting up a membership and I'm going to go to and now check out this provider and that provider and that provider and that provider.
But because I've been eyes open.
Oh, you're going in eyes open with all the information that you need. Yeah. So $196. I encourage all of you to participate. It is going to be Sunday, the 26th of November. This is happening, whether or not there's 2 people in it or there's 200 people in it. But for the first time ever, we are making it accessible and affordable to as many beauty salon owners as we possibly can. This sounds great, but would it be useful to let us know if there is some information we should have on hand for the day? We will be providing you with all of that, Debbie, in advance. Don't you worry about it one little bit. There will be reports that you need to bring to the workshop, for example. Okay, but one of the most valuable things is these 9 questions that you will be able to put into SurveyMonkey, send out to your database, receive it back, look at it, and you'll be going like this, holy crap, I didn't even know that about my business. Yeah. Just through 9 little questions, okay, let alone all the marketing education, the legal advice, and the financial, with the legal guidance, and the financial guidance as well, and the education you're going to get to go and apply in different areas of your businesses. Yeah. Besides memberships.
Nikki's asked if there's a cut-off date to sign up.
Oh. Well, I did limit it to 250 to attend.
Okay, so there's a cut-off.
There is a cut-off. It's 250 because I want it to be manageable.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be able to answer everyone's questions.
But don't delay, because if we do have 250 on, and I know you get a lot of views
Well, I've got
on the
50.
replay.
I've got 50 in my inner circle.
Yeah.
There's 50 people in my SMC inner circle. This
and
is
this
another.
is open to anyone.
Yeah,
watching
there's
the replay.
89 in my SMC action takers. We've got PBS salons. There's 2,000 PBS salons.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got a webinar coming up very soon, haven't you? Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your webinar?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're doing a webinar specifically for workplace in the hair and beauty industries. And that's on the 13th of November. If you go and check out my Facebook page, progressivelegal.com.au, Progressive Legal on the Facebook page, or go to progressivelegal.com.au. You can have a look at there as well and register for the webinar. It's free, so come and join us for a webinar specifically for workplace. Now, with this particular event though, I'm going to do something impromptu now and offer every single person that subscribes to the event, I'll give them a free subscription to Law in a Box as well.
Oh, really? That is so generous of you, because isn't that valued at like...
That's $500, but $200 at the moment, so...
Wow, that's amazing.
Right.
Just give you guys that as well.
You're going to give them that for free
Yep.
if they
sign
they
up for this.
come up for a day
Yep.
on the 26th of November.
Yep.
That's amazing. Wow, thank you so
Awesome.
much, Anne.
Yeah.
That's
No
great.
worries.
Okay, so let's just make sure that that link has gone in. Now, what I'll do, now that we're going to end the broadcast, is I'm going to get the link and pin it to the top of the Salon Marketing Coach Facebook page. When you see the link, just click. You'll be able to pay straight away and you're in. We'll set up the Facebook group this week. And you can also go to the Salon Marketing Coach website and just click on workshops and you'll see membership workshop.
Great.
No one's going to be doing small group coaching with me for $2,750. I don't think so. But you're giving away Laura in the boxes. Well, I should just take that down.
You got to do yourself a mischief.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here,
you for
Matt.
having
It
me.
was a massive, it was epic. I mean, we've been going for 3 different broadcasts, 90 minutes at least. Ian, thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
I hope
great
everyone
to
got a lot out
be
of
here.
it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot more information that we have. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And on the day, I'll give a lot more legal information as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there'll be a lot more legal tips as well for
So
you.
let's just go back to the first message. Stop, stop, stop.
Yes.
Do nothing.
Do nothing.
Do nothing.
See, that's why it's not a normal salon marketing show.
Because
Because usually it's
Do
SMC
this,
action
do-
takers.
Yeah,
Now there's
yeah,
hashtag SMC do nothing takers.
do nothing. I mean, we even had giveaways and stuff tonight, and we haven't even gone there
I know.
because it's so important. So
Yeah.
stop, stop, stop. Give up a Sunday. Pay $196. Get the most incredible advice you can get on how to go forward with a membership.
And spend a day sharpening the saw on your entire business.
On your
anyway.
entire business
Yeah.
anyway. Okay, thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Episode 42 of the Salon Marketing Show. Come back to this page for updates on what we're going to be doing, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 43 to 8:30 p.m. Australian
everyone.
Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Bye.